first readings, passing ordinances number 6 and 7. So we will have Finance Committee on the floor.
Right. I'd like to ask a question about number 7.
Can we do that? Or does it have to be in committee on the floor because it hasn't had its first reading yet?
Well, at least I don't want to blindside them or prepare them. Ordinance number 7, for the water. Canton South.
Yes.
Now I got your attention. Okay.
Yeah.
100 years ago, there was a meeting at the Civic Center between City Council, the Law Department, and Canton South. And we offered them annexation in exchange for water. I know most people weren't there. How'd it go? It went screamingly where I got my head handed to me. And we said, fine, if you don't want to annex, then we're not going to do anything about water. That was, Dick Watkins was mayor at the time. So what's changed between now and the meeting at the Civic Center 100 years ago?
One thing I'll refer to, you may speak better to this than I, is part of the CEDA, was it the CEDA agreement with Canton Township? And we offered to explore the possibility of providing water to Canton Township. So that's a main driver. And that's, so if you all would care to elaborate on that. Beyond that,
Well, you can save it all for the
okay.
for the meeting, but I'm just saying,
Yeah.
this meeting took place. In fact, I think Mr. Williams might even have been a councilman at that point. Probably. And I just,
Yes.
during committee meetings, I'm going to ask you about it, because this was just thrown at me, brought to my attention in first reading, and we have no time to look at it, I guess. So, see you on the floor.
Our members of the council, excuse me, tonight, and I apologize for coming here on what would be considered short notice for a single reading. Certainly, I don't prefer to do that, but you'll hear why that's the case in just a few minutes. Running water lines down to and providing water to Canton Township has been something that the city Canton Water Department has been working on with Bill Smith, who at that time was Canton Township trustee, for over 7 years. And we've been literally on an annual, ongoing basis. And they want water down there, is what I'm being told. We would like to sell them water. If you go back to things that you've heard me say in the past, that you know we've lost population in the city, you know we've lost industry in the city, and yet we have a water system with infrastructure to serve upwards of 200,000 people, and we currently serve about 100,000 people. So in order to be able to care for that infrastructure and keep our rates as low as we can, we have to constantly look for new customers, and I look for new customers at every place that I can, knowing that our range is limited in areas of growth that we can reach. So going back to this Canton Township main extension, we have tried to look at different construction practices, look at different financing methods, run business models, and literally for years. And when we do that, the business model unto itself simply would not work out. If you look at this, it's roughly 10 to 12 miles of water main at a cost to install of about $1 million a mile, so upwards of $12 million. And you spread that out over some 820, 30, 40 customers that we might pick up down there. You do the math, and you end up where potentially it can be $10,000 to $15,000 per customer for everybody to hook up to Canton Water. And if Canton Water contributes monies, our payback period becomes such a long period of time that it just becomes impossible. The math just doesn't work out. So after all this time, and we've had public town hall meetings with them and that down here a year or two, but after all this time, it became very clear that the only way that this would tip in a direction that we had hoped would be some kind of influx of third-party money. Otherwise, again, the business model simply would not stand on its own. Within the last year, actually probably earlier this year, I was attending a meeting with the American Water Works Association with some of the leadership of Ohio EPA, and the leadership of Ohio EPA was talking about the governor's desire for regionalization and supporting regionalization. So I put forth to my colleague on the EPA side that we have a project that may fit that need, and we can use help with. If we don't get help, it's not going to go forward, and it's a dead issue for our goal. So the terms are never going to get more favorable. That individual led me to come to the understanding that state revolving loan funds are available, and I knew that. And we had already considered that, but there's actually principal forgiveness portion of state revolving loan funds for certain regionalization projects and for certain human health related projects where water quality and public health is an issue. And I had never heard of that before. So that was news to me, exciting news. They encouraged, Ohio EPA encouraged us to apply and put this project forward, and we did. And we went through a couple of iterations of it, worked closely with Ohio EPA, and had learned along the way that potentially of the $12 million cost for this project, up to half, 50%, could be considered principal forgiveness if the project, rated and scored highly enough. So we could, and then the remainder would be some 0% interest loan for the balance, which is also a fantastic deal. When we put it forth, the short of it is the results came back on the scoring. We got support from Ohio EPA, and not only were we looking at 50% principal forgiveness, we were looking at 75% principal forgiveness. $9 million. $9 million out of $12 million that the state, if we meet certain criteria, may well be willing to put forth to have this project go forward. So that would leave us with 25% of the total project cost to cover at a 0% interest loan, which somebody at the state level described as can't just won the lottery, for all, proverbial lottery. So we were quite excited about that. Actually, we called it, it was so hard to believe that we asked them to put it in writing, which they did, and we confirmed it and then went through all those iterations. Now, the difficult part is on us, and that is that there are timelines associated with this, that we are talking about 2017 funds, 2018 funds. There's simply no one in the state or elsewhere that's going to guarantee us what the case for monies are going to be in 2018. We're not there yet, so nobody's going to say this money's available then. So 2017 dollars are available, and we need to have, by June 1st of next year, 12 miles of water main designed, easements in place along Cleveland Avenue, and the design approved by Ohio EPA, out to bid, and have bid tabs back by June 1st of next year to be in for this money, which is about 4 years, 3 to 4 years worth of work, on top of our normal daily work, like pumping water and fixing main breaks, and, the Sugar Creek build out of the lagoon, the 38th Street build out of the water line, the Avondale build out of the water line, the 40th and Grunder build out of the water line, and the slate of projects that are under design for next year. This is on top of all of those things. But, I'm up for a big challenge. I don't know, we're going to do it. We'll make it happen with approval of this body, because where can you build out, $12 million worth of water line for 25 cents on the dollar? If we make it, and again, we met early with the mayor, we met with one of the county commissioners, we met with one of the Canton Township trustees, and we hashed through this stuff and the timing, and of course, Director Bartos, and then we sit up front. This is going to be extremely challenging to get this done in this time period. Everything is going to have to go just right, and there's not enough. a week to spare, hence here I am before you on short notice, which I apologize for, but that's just the nature of this thing. I didn't want to come to you before we were at a certain place that I knew what I was talking about. So that's it in a nutshell. I will certainly answer any questions anybody might have, and can get back to Councilman Smuggler's concern as well. But with that, I would accept any questions.
Do you have questions? Member Hall? Yes.
Will all of the folks down that area be required to look into this?
No, in fact, to the contrary, unlike sewer main extensions where you can put an assessment form that everybody that can benefit it has to sign up and has to hook up, that is not the case with water. Water is totally voluntary. And so what we have to do is go forth, and part of it is we'll have to go back down to Canton Township with the help of the township trustees and the community and sell this project and get those individuals involved to be able to hook up. And we have to make it affordable enough that it's attractive enough to do so, because in this case, we're competing against private wells, meaning if you have a private well, and it's working fine, you may opt to stay with your well. So again, we have to make it attractive enough for you to move forward, but it's a voluntary practice.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Mr. Chairman,
Member Smuggler?
I'll reserve most of my remarks for the floor because I want them on the record. But you're telling me we're not going to get 180% outside millage on this? Water rates?
No, this is outside the city rates.
So we're going to get 180%? Is that what we're getting on outside rates now?
It's 150%.
Not 100, okay, 150% we're getting for this as water rates. We're not giving any break deals.
No, the water rates is not going to be adjusted, no.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Chairman?
I have Member Mack and then, go ahead. Leader.
Director Connors, multiple questions. First off, nobody is obligated to sign up for city water. And do we have any projections of how many potential customers we could pick up? My logic is I have well water, I've got a softener, I have no problem. Well, why do I want to pay for my water? And the second part of the question is, you used the word 75% the state may forgive. Didn't say would, it said may.
My understanding is that they will forgive it. That's the conservative person in me until I see stuff in ink and they have money in pocket, so to speak. Then I always withhold that little bit in reserve. That's just me personally. I have no indication that it'll be anything but that. In fact, the director of Ohio EPA has signed off on this year's slate of projects in the project management plan, but there is some competitive nature to it as far as the construction. It's a first come, first serve on the dollars. So we know that's a possibility. And worst case, we're prepared to reapply in 2018. And again, nobody can predict the funding at that time, but at that time we'll have a set of plans and bid tabs in hand. We should be at the front of the line for whatever's available in 2018. And also keeping in mind that Ohio EPA is also proffered that they would put out 75% of the design money, which in my understanding is unique to this year. And they have a vested interest they want to see this project go through as well, I'll put it that way. Because they have dollars, they'll have dollars in the design, so they do not want to see the dollars in design sitting on the shelf.
Okay. Director Convers, you said they'll pay up to 75% of the design money. We are going to go through the bid process. We're going to go through the design process, which means you're going to come down to council. You're going to ask for authorization to hire one of my favorite groups, consultants, to walk us through this. What are going to be the financial burdens laid on your department for this project in the event of not getting it passed for 2017 and having to roll it over to 2018? Now, when I say financial burden you're going to lay on there, you made it very clear that you have a lot on your plate right now. And we're going to add this, which is going to be pretty detailed. What could we potentially spend on the project and ultimately delay it?
Yes, well, it's going to be, the first phase that we'll do is to, and we're working on this now, we'll enter into contract with design engineers, possibly multiple firms, because it's so much work, we want to split it out. And so we'll have that underway. So that's the first thing we have to do. So the part that will be, the Canton Water will be out on the limb for, will be 25% of upwards of $1.2 million in design work. So 25, so maybe $250,000 out of $1.2 million, give or take, will be on, we'll have out spec. If then we don't get the construction dollars, then back to the same argument or the same principle I said before, it's not financially feasible to move this project forward and build it out. So worst case is we have $250,000 in it. We spend roughly $1.2 million in total design. The EPA's on the hook for the rest. We get to the end of the fiscal year. There's no more construction dollars left. We roll into 2018, reapply. There's no construction dollars left, which I don't anticipate being the case. And we don't get to build it. And then we shelve $1 million worth of plans that we have $250,000 in. That would be the worst case in my mind. So there is a risk of about 25%, and I'll go on the record as saying I'm comfortable with that risk. Given these circumstances at this time, I don't see this type of opportunity, knowing what I know about what had to take place for this to go through, coming our way again. In which case, I don't see water lines ever being extended in my lifetime down Canton.
Okay, so now I'm going to quote the EPA, and they said that Canton just hit the lottery.
No, I didn't say EPA said that.
Oh, somebody said we just hit the lottery.
Yes.
Okay, so let's take my lottery ticket. I've got roughly a $250,000 investment. Okay, then I could potentially lose. Okay, it's a gamble. What is my potential gain off of providing Canton South with water? And I've heard on the Hartville project that we will never see a return in our lifetime. Will we see a return on this in our lifetime?
Yeah, I think so. And if somebody has a calculator out real quickly, let's say, I'll say just for easy, 800 customers at the average outside the city residential rate, which is about $325 a year. 325 equals $260,000 a year in income if everyone hooks up, which is not. But times 10 years, that's $2.6 million and so on. So you see what I'm saying? So in 10 years, we make $2.6 million, give or take, with the expectancy that water lines would last a minimum of 50 years, probably 75 years if installed correctly.
Government.
Yes, Superintendent, first, thank you for your awesome top-level work on not just this, but planning. I want to talk about annexation, and kind of preface it by saying, and this is just my personal view, it's not necessarily the view of the entire city, obviously, but I personally am very bullish and strong advocate for annexation by the city. I think that, in my view, I frankly believe it's supported by over 200 years of Ohio law, townships are made to be annexed by municipalities. With that said, while there are certain areas, when those direct lines like ordinances, there are certain areas in the Canton Township that we are targeting for annexation. But I understand that this area is probably not in that area. question is doing this going to impact our ability to annex this area at all in the future?
I don't know if I'm the right person to speak to that, and I say that because as water superintendent, quite frankly, annexation runs contrary to my business that I'm responsible for, because instead of charging 2.5 times the city rates, I charge cost. And so that's not something I advocate. There's others that have reason to annex. You know, do you want to annex and be responsible for Canton Township roads and police and fire? I don't know. That's a question, and with all due respect, maybe a question for somebody else that can answer better than I.
I guess, in terms of, and because you know the transaction details of the transaction, I mean, what you said was just very fair, but I understand that you're responsible for one particular fund, and we got to do all. And so there are some municipal strategic reasons to want to do annexations, various reasons. Is there anything in the transactional documents with the EPA or any other entity that would somehow block us from annexing this in the future that you're aware of?
Not that I'm aware of, and that maybe, and I don't know if this helps or ties in at all, I would like to defer back to the agreement, the CETA, that we have that was in relationship to Mills Industrial Park in the Faircrest area, whereby we said, and agreed to, my understanding as a city, that we would look into providing water to Canton Township if we explored it and found it to be financially feasible and or beneficial to both parties. And so that's already taken place, is all I'm saying. But beyond that, I don't know of any reason you can change and do whatever you all as a collective group care to do. There's nothing in that document that has the EPA doesn't care annexation or not. That's not their impetus.
And quite frankly, with not the flattery, with your excellent work in this project and looking at the maps I am here with municipal corporations, if there isn't any sort of impediment with the CETA or the transactional documents, I can see how this project can make annexation in the future even easier to be included. So, Mr. Chairman, I think because in fairness, Director Congress did defer some of that stuff to Director Sloan, because I think it is germane unless Bill wants to jump on it, but just to kind of touch on those things.
Mr. Chairman, I ask Mr. Slyman to maybe step up to the microphone. The only thing I would say that in January of 2015, when we amended the CETA agreement to allow for the annexation of the water reclamation facility as a consideration for that amendment to the CETA agreement, we did agree to a couple items, one of which being to work jointly with Canton Township on the extension of these lines, but I don't recall there being any sort of impediment to future annexation. But Sam, you can speak to
There is absolutely no impediment to future annexation if council approves this project. And I think you're correct, Councilman, that there would make, wherever our water lines are, it's not an impediment to annexation. The Tansel annexation is going on right now. In Plain Township, they already have our water lines. They've chosen to come into the city because they have our water, because they want our police and fire protection. And quite frankly, they want to get out from under the yoke of the township government that is sometimes harsh to what their needs are. So that property is going to be a hotel that will be outside the village of Hall of Fame, yet close enough to really benefit from it. So it'll be a large water customer, a good income tax base for the employees that work there, and of course we'll get all the bed tax as well. So, and I diverted from the Canton South project. Canton South right now, the Southgate Plaza area into the south has never been a target of the annexation department. The I-77 south to Prairie College has been, Ford Motor has been, those two are we're in Canton Township. Now they're in the city of Canton. So, and the other thing I can say is Canton Township, by and large, has been a pretty good partner with the city of Canton. They've cooperated where other townships have been a little bit more difficult. So And I could say this too, Director Bartos and Superintendent Converse, whenever they lay new water lines, they always contact me and say, hey, look, is this annexable? And if it is, they don't do a permit, or they don't bring it to city council. And if I say no, then they extend it. So we have a good working relationship. But Tyler's correct. We are a lot of times in conflict, annexation and water. Tyler wants to sell water and I want to bring land and income tax revenues into the city. So we've got some better agreement now the other way.
Yeah, we work it out.
Well, I mean, then, Mr. President, brings to a close. Thank you. I mean, this seems like a win-win. I mean, it seems certainly, if not in line with, at least not adverse to our annexation strategies. And, I mean, this doesn't seem like there's going to be any other financial way to bring this down. So, excellent work.
Okay. Any other questions? I'll just say, like always, Service Director, Mr. Converse, you guys have done a great job, great presentation, great attention to details, so thank you very much. Sounds like this has potential to be very good for the water.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity. I hope so. We have a lot of cooperative work ahead, but I certainly, my hope is it plays out well and it's successful. So we'll give it our best shot.
I appreciate you let the water softens on our water. Did it once.
Water softeners?
With that, so it is 8:41. We'll conclude finance.
It's city water, you can do the water stuff. Chairman, did everybody sign?
Yes, all good.
Council will reconvene after recess. Mr. Morris?
Mr. President, I move we suspend Rule 22A to place ordinances number 6 and 7 back on this evening's agenda.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to suspend Rule 22A and add second reading ordinances first reading, sorry. 6 and 7 on this evening's agenda. Any remarks? Hearing none.
Morris. Smith. Babcock. Harmon. Smucker. Hall. Chester. Gaglione. Fisher. Hall. Merrill. Mack. 12 yeas.
Thank you. Motion carries. Ordinance 6 and 7 are duly included in the agenda. Leader?
Mr. President, I move we suspend statutory rules for ordinances number 6 and 7.
Second. It's been moved and seconded to suspend the statutory rules for ordinance 6 and 7. Any remarks?
Morris. Smith.
Aye.
Babcock. Harmon. Smucker. Hall. Chester. Gaglione. Fisher. Hall. Merrill. Mack. 12 yeas.
Thank you. Further three readings, Leader?
Mr. President, I move we adopt ordinance number 6.
Second.
Moved and seconded to adopt ordinance number 6. Any remarks? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Morris. Smith.
Aye.
Babcock. Harmon. Smucker. Hall. Chester. Gaglione. Fisher. Hall. Merrill. Mack. 12 yeas, Mr. President.
Thank you. Motion carries. Ordinance 6 has been adopted. Ordinance number 7.
Mr. President, I move we adopt ordinance number 7.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that you adopt ordinance number 7. Any remarks on this ordinance?
Mr. President,
Yes. Number 7.
clarify a little history. A lady by the name of Lou Leno came down to city council years ago when Dick Watkins was mayor and said, if you give us water, I will help you annex all of Canton Township into the city of Canton. And like the fools we were, we had a meeting at the Civic Center, that I believe at the time was Law Director Burnby. And the people got up en masse and handed us our heads. Said, keep your water. We don't want your water. And a lot of other insults to go with it. Thick skin after 30 years down here. Don't care about that. But what I do care about is, you give them water, you will never annex. Columbus, Ohio proved it. Mayor Sensenbrenner, Columbus is now Franklin County and growing. I voted for Hartville. I don't care about the return being 10 years from now, but I knew there was no chance of us ever annexing Hartville. Wasn't even in the realm. Again, you give them water, there's no annexation. That's been a proven fact. And Columbus proved it. You've got all those businesses going down there. I agree about the rate you got is phenomenal. I agree that it was 150% water rates are great. But I hope we don't do anything to disrupt that. I think at some point during the line, it was Director Williams at the time who got his head handed into him. That somewhere, somehow, we should be able to have a historical perspective of all this that's been handed to us over the years. Sam, I don't know if you were a councilman, I don't know what you were then, but you remember the meeting, don't you? We have taken baby steps on doing certain things with Canton Township. This is not a baby step. This is a big chunk. And again, I don't think you'll ever annex a thing once you give it water. Thank you.
Mr. President,
Yes.
I'm very much for this, selling this water, running these lines. It's a very good deal for the city of Canton. Water is a precious commodity. We have an excess of it. I think it's a proper thing to do to sell it, put it out there. When you talk about annexation, you must talk about other things. That includes who's going to take care of the roads, who's going to police, who's going to put out the fires, all the stuff they have to do. You have to weigh that against the income tax that's going to come in. New income tax, not income tax that may be existing income tax already collected by our city. This is the best thing we can do. I agree with Mr. Commerce on this thing. We should sell our water. Years ago, the people in this city who sat in the same council chamber had the great idea of opening the Sugar Creek water fields, purchasing and pumping this water this far, making us available and have all this water. Now we are sitting in a position. As years go by, water will become a more precious commodity. We have a wonderful source here. I'm all for selling it. I commend Director Congress for what he's done and getting this done. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Any other remarks? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Moore. Aye. Smith.
Aye.
Babcock. Harmon. Smucker.
No?
Hall.
Aye.
Chester. Dagenham.
Aye.
Fisher.
No.
Hall.
Aye.
Merrill. Mack. 10 yeas, 2 nays, Mr. President.
Motion carries. Ordinance number 7 has been adopted.